Hey everyone, it's Nemo. One of my followers had a question: what is it to exist? You're asking me? My answer is that it means your parents happen to have sex at a very specific moment that your sperm happened to make it to the egg nest. And that's a really boring and unsatisfying answer, I feel like. So, let's go ask some other people. So, I got this thing.
Okay.
What does it mean to exist? Exactly. What is it to exist?
Constant disappointment.
Constant disappointment.
That's my
Very
opinion.
Buddhist.
That's my opinion.
Alright. So we got Johnny here. Johnny, what is it to exist? I want to get your thoughts on that.
Exist. Well, the first thing that pops into my mind is I don't know.
Beautiful.
Yes, I'd say it's kind of complex. What is it to exist? Wow. I don't know that I'm going to be able to elaborate.
I mean, there's no right or wrong answer to this. I mean, you if there was a right answer, I think you nailed it with your first response. Who fucking knows? But yeah, is that something you think about or ponder on, or if now is the first time you're thinking about it, like go wild.
Yeah.
Give us a rant if you got one.
I'd say it has something to do with being, consciousness, and
With being consciousness, is that what
yeah, with being, like the word being, B-E-I-N-G.
yeah.
And there's a sense of consciousness about that being.
What is consciousness in your definition here? In the way you think about it. And feel free to be as personal about this as you want.
Yeah, I'd say it's somewhat of a consciousness related or tied back into an awareness
Okay.
of who I am, I exist, and I'm aware that I exist though, so I don't think it's fully conscious. Animals exist, obviously. I don't know if they're necessarily conscious in the way that I am.
Are you talking about conscientiousness or because just so I'm making sure I'm following you along here.
Sure.
When you said consciousness, it sounded you were relating that to the awareness.
Yes.
And so do you think a dog has a sense of awareness that I'm in the room right now, I'm eating right now?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
I think so.
So then-
in that sense, they are aware that they exist.
But conscientious,
at some level.
being able to be I'm eating because my master brought the food here because he went to work. That's a whole nother string of being conscientious.
Yes. I think a dog exists. I don't know if a dog knows why he exists.
Yeah.
So maybe that's the difference there. I'm really not the best one to ask this to.
Who would be? There's no better. Can you tell us about what you're reading here?
I'm actually reading my Bible. James.
Which book specifically?
The Epistle of James.
And what's standing out to you today in the book of James?
Well, I haven't read it in a while, but reading.
What inspired you to pick it up today?
Something to James?
The fact that I haven't read this book in a while. I've read. I just got done reading the First John, so I wanted to.
What were your big takeaways from 1 John this time?
Closing last sentence in 1 John is little children, keep yourself from idols.
Wow.
Yeah. It's something to ponder.
No, that's a good thing to be expressed out to the world.
Yeah.
Now, was that targeted specifically at youth, or because I recall a line saying least you be like children may you enter the kingdom of heaven. So could that have been? Do you think that was directed at literal youth, or at all the people seeking to
Children
enter heaven?
could refer to anyone, really.
Yeah. Well, little children. He says little children a few times throughout the book.
Okay, so
Yeah,
it was
I
being
think
very
it's-
specific.
Well, I think it was kind of pastoral tones. John's he was kind of endearing, you might say. Little
Gotcha.
children. I don't think he's literally talking to children. There's adults in his audience.
Okay.
Fairly certain, but it was more of endearing. Little
Yeah.
children.
Okay.
The book emphasis is on you know, I don't preach to you a new commandment, but this commandment, love one another.
All right.
So just going off that.
Well, thanks so much, Johnny.
Yeah, thank
It's
you,
really
man.
great
I
hearing
appreciate you.
Yeah. So this is Pooch.
Hi,
The famous Pooch.
how's it going?
Pooch, what's your take on what it means to exist?
Oh man.
Look here.
So existence.
Don't look at yourself. Look at the lens.
Okay, so existence, man.
You want to take a walk while you talk about this?
Yes.
All right, let's walk. Not existence. What it is
To exist.
to exist.
Well, that would be what it is to exist. Connection.
Talk about connection.
So, connection, and not necessarily connection to the point of how we walk up to a certain person and be like, oh, I was very connected to this person. Those are physical connections. Physical connections are there, of course, yeah, very much. They're more like manifestations of this greater growth underneath that's been bubbling like boiling water. And at the points where the boiling water pops up and bubbles is like our points of purpose, our existence. That's that point in between where
What's happening here?
where chaos and
Speaking of chaos,
yeah, exactly.
not our problem.
So at those points where chaos and static meet, or static meaning non or deterministic or sedentary or the words don't quite describe very well those such ideals, but where those 2 points meet, chaos isn't really a very good description of that idea, but
So-
either way, where that point of constant action of undetermined and that point of linear progression, and they meet in this compactual centered point where it's like the immovable force and the unstoppable force meet together, and that point in between.
Unstoppable force and immovable object.
Yes, exactly. What he said, not what I said. And where those meet, that point in between where they're trying to defile each other or to defeat each other or to fuck each other or to whatever, is
That's the connection you're talking about?
that connectivity, that little.
So it sounds like,
bit
let me
of
see if I understand what you're getting at here. Tension is more or less what it sounds like.
Well,
Like momentum, movement, but like a specific kind of movement. Tension.
kind of, yeah.
Movement based, like movement inspired by some causality.
Well, yeah. Oh, and like where, okay,
Not movement for the sake of itself, not movement for the sake of movement, but movement because something inspired that movement.
correct.
Okay,
Yes.
like if I push you, that kind of movement.
Right. Well,
So let's take that. It sounds like what we're getting at then is like engagement.
Well, I mean, yes, yeah. I mean, we're just engaging in this operation. We're not the beginning. We're not. I mean, we're really not even the end, man. We're just enveloped into this bubbling that's been going on, and all of a sudden we find ourselves in this bubble that is what I call Jordan.
Whoop.
And that Jordan is bubbling up, and eventually it pops and it goes and it
It does
vaporizes.
stuff. All right.
And it goes off on into.
You're talking about when you die. You're in the body decomposes. You talking
I'm
about
not
that?
certain. I'm not certain if I haven't popped before I ever even began. I mean, like
That's what she said.
I mean, but seriously, man. I mean,
So, okay. So to the initial question, what is it to exist?
man.
Is it what you're saying that what it is to exist is to engage, is to act?
What it is to exist is expressed through those actions.
So,
what it is to exist
so
is
then in
not
other words,
necessarily those actions.
in other words, are
Those
you saying it's
actions-
circumstantial? What it is to exist?
Describe circumstantial.
Circumstantial being like, you know,
Talk to me like I'm stupid, so I know exactly what it is you're saying.
Okay, good one. Give me a second. When Jordan and Mark go to Six Flags,
Okay.
they have a particular experience together.
Correct.
But when Jordan and Bob go to Six Flags, they have like they're in the same place. There's still Jordan there, but there's going to be a different experience had because of the circumstance of who he's with.
Correct. Yes. That if circumstantial
like-
is what you're saying there,
So
and that's the description, then I would agree. Yes.
if you go into a room and you know,
And Jordan may not have been the same, dependent on the circumstances of what allowed so-called Jordan to be placed into such situation. And such situations, like
I think we get you. I think we got you.
that point for Jordan to have been there is not necessarily that same situation may have happened with two separate people and two separate individuals that would have not been Jordan and Mark as loss of
Or Jordan and Bob,
purpose,
or Jordan and Becca. or-
Exactly. But that same situation may have happened because they were the circumstantial of that point in time. Reverberates in my conscience as like a checker point, kind of a feeler, like a tentacle, to see where I am and where I am. Yeah, I mean, because in the end, that's kind of, I mean, it's, the rest is great and fantastic and completely ununderstandable to myself as this, because so that connective tissue, that connectivity that binds us all and absorbs us is also quite freeing in and of itself, because it also, while it brings us in and it says you are this one, it also allows this certain perspective and certain ideal of individuality, which is a quite beautiful thing. And it's not, there's many things that say that we should lose individuality, and I think by doing such a thing you lose half of the puzzle, because we were given this individuality as a tool, as a function, as a, people like to say purpose. We're looking for purpose, and that purpose is directly put into this individual you, whoever you are, whoever I am, whoever any of us may be. And that individuality is also as important as that singularity, because without that idea of individuality, we don't have an idea of what self or what idea of I am. And I and you and I and we, and when you speak from yourself, you speak of I, and when I speak of myself, I speak of I, and when everyone speaks of themselves, we all speak of I, because I is the only thing that I mean, we even see out of our fucking eyes, man. I mean, eyes, it's eyes, yeah. I mean, that's even a better description. Eyes of myself, the eyes of we, the eyes of how we move throughout this self. I mean, we're moving throughout our own self as we're expounding out, as we're expelling, as we're deriving, as we're focusing, as we're distracting, as we're fucking everything, man. I mean, we can't get away from it, no matter what you want to do. We've been trying for forever, but we can't, man.
So
I mean,
what might be a better question than asking what is it to exist? What might be a better question in your mind?
Well, that depends on the certain mind being asked such a question.
Well, can you feel out, like, what
for
the
me,
what the intention
such a-
behind someone asking that might be? Like,
'Cause
is there
for
a
me,
quicker way to get to what they're getting at? Do you think?
well, my statement to that would be is speed necessarily the option? I mean, or is it the
object?
The object? Is it how fast we can do something? Is it all about quickness? Because time, if we're throwing time into the deal, which is saying, you know, what you're saying, how fast, how speedily
that's a good
can
point.
we get
And
there?
so let me reiterate, because I don't necessarily mean to be emphasizing the rate at which, you know, I'm not trying to like finish the race super fast. You're fine.
Well, that brings a
Like,
temporal factor.
one idea that Alan Watts used to throw out comes to mind, where you know, he's talking about, he tells a story about, you know, I'm gonna have to paraphrase here because I'm kind of loosey. He talks about, like, someone's asking a question kind of relating to this about, like, you know, self-discovery and you know, existential kind of pondery. And he says, well, yeah, sure, I know how to get there, but I wouldn't start from here. He tells like a story of like someone, he relates it to someone's trying to find a particular city. He's like, yeah, someone came through the village and asks, like, do you know how to get to such and such place? And the villager says, yeah, sure, I know how to get there, but I wouldn't start from here.
Yeah.
You know, am I kind of making sense?
Okay.
So in that context, I mean, and it could be a no. The question, what is it to exist, could be spot on. I'm just curious what your thoughts would be.
Well, my thought off that is that to ask the question of what it means to exist is a good starter point, because
Okay.
it begins with what it means to exist, and then someone has to question the idea of existence and what it really means to exist. And once they get to the actual purpose and all the different, you know, blocks and contexts of such a question, they end up on an infinite scale of, I mean, is there a wrong question? I mean, that's my idea. Can a question be wrong? Can you ask such a thing as?
I wasn't necessarily saying it's wrong. Just,
Well, I mean, you see what I'm saying, though.
I do see what you're saying,
You
yeah.
ask such a question.
so yeah, let us
and
do
it
clarify.
provokes-
We're not like we're not putting down the question.
No, not
I'm
wrong.
clarifying for myself.
Yeah, no, not wrong as in like. Yeah, no, not wrong. Just a question invokes imaginative, creative, individual view of your exact perspective, because each one has a perspective that is of what is outside of the eyes, and that's a difficult spot for me. What is outside of the eyes and what is inside of the eyes, because I have a very difficult differential of describing what is inside and what is outside of myself. But for the quick and easy idea of what is outside of the eyes, as what it is that
Talking about
you
like
are
the world out
perceiving.
here, the sidewalk we're on right
Exactly.
now, the
yeah.
camera,
The
we're
way
in front
that
of
you
us.
perceive those things, the way that you see those things, the way that each person sees that is a specific orientation for a.
Because the question, what is it to exist? You know, that's not specific to humans.
No.
It'd be, what is it to exist as a tree, as a truck?
Yeah.
You know, okay.
It's not only humans or sentient beings or something like that. I mean it's all
Because
life. It's
another
all-
thing a
all
lot of people
things,
like
all-
to debate or wonder about is, you know, what is a soul and what has a soul? You know, like, does a dog have a soul?
There's only soul, man.
Does
There's
an
there's
inanimate
nothing
object
else.
have a soul?
Everything. There's nothing else but soul or God or chi or we or fucking mana, prana, fucking. There's a billion goddamn words out there that mean the fucking same thing. We've been talking about the same goddamn thing. We argue about it all the fucking time because
Yeah,
we
that's
like our own terminology over another terminology, because we like to
wanna go
perceive
over here
ourselves as right in some way. and that's fine. I mean, that's what is. I mean, because to ourselves, I mean, we are right. We are, and that's true. I mean, you are fucking right. I mean, what it is that you think is what is being perceived and what is being projected onto the world that is being portrayed for you in the constant, endless,
So now there's
beautiful
like
visions that are being
two layers of
laid
that
out
that I
for
see
you.
off the bat. One is like on a psychological stance. You've got associative memory. And so, you know, if I say the words red door in front of 10 people, they're all going to get their own idea based on their own associative memory
Exactly.
of what that red door looks like. And I think what you're talking about is on that more meta level of, hold on. Oh, fucking go. Of this kind of like mystical concept of, you know, your thoughts like actually reverberating into the matter of the world around you and thus like shaping, like literally shaping
Well, I mean, you
the
can
matter
call-
of the world around you.
You can call that mystical if you'd like, but the evidence in my mind supports such a situation to such
Oh
a
yeah,
degree
because you know
that-
stuff in modern quantum physics and theoretical physics, yeah, all pointing towards that being the case.
yeah, I mean,
Just
people,
wanted to-
they've been talking about it for not just now. I mean, it's been
I don't know if
eons.
this is
It's been-
backwards or not.
what do you mean?
Like, I don't know if it's a mirror effect. We got Rocky Horror Show coming up in Tyler, Texas, y'all. Anyway, I think this has been a really good spiel.
Yeah.
Thanks
Okay.
for sharing.
Yeah, brother. Yeah.
Cool. Well, this is Pooch. He's
Hi,
my
guys.
oldest childhood friend. We've been best friends since 3rd grade.
3rd grade, man.
We knew each other since kindergarten, but we didn't really start hanging out until a little later.
Yeah. Well, you know, things, man.
Anyway, I love you, man.
Love you too, my friend. That's fun, man. Thanks for letting me do that.
Let's do it again sometime.
Yeah.
So there it is. I hope you guys enjoyed that. If you guys want to give some input or write in or hear some more on this subject, this topic, feel free to comment below. If you liked it, please like the video, subscribe, and we'll see you next time.